think back to when you were in early elementary school and try to remember the technology that you had in your classroom. Now continue to look back and see how the technology changed as you got older. For example, when I was in first grade, we had a few desktop computers. When I was in fourth grade, we got an overhead projector. In eighth grade, we got a couple sets of Chromebooks. And by the time I was a senior, everyone had their own separate Chromebook. Now here I am in college, online because of COVID. Technology has been super helpful throughout my schooling, especially during COVID, but has also been a burden at times. Technology has so many positives and negative effects that vary with every different teacher and students that use them. There are many new forms of technology that have come out and apps that have come out that have really helped students learn, especially during this time of COVID and many schools having to go online. There have been tons of new online manipulatives that help students to learn. In my math class, we use online manipulatives since we can't be in the classroom using hands-on manipulatives. Some of these online manipulatives are things we wouldn't have access to even if we were in person. The online manipulatives give us more opportunities and ways to learn and understand. In an article by Kevin Costley, he says, technology causes students to be more engaged, thus students often retain more information. Technology allows for hands-on learning. Students aren't just watching the teachers do it on the board. Now they have their own board in front of them, basically. They have access to all sorts of different programs. They're able to be creative, work with different apps, work with other students. When they're having fun and being able to be creative, it keeps them motivated and more engaged in their schooling. Another pro of technology in the classroom given by Casey Brown was that it makes classrooms more efficient. It makes teachers' jobs more efficient. They no longer have to go down to the copy room or the printer. They can just, now with the click of a button, share the homework or the whatever they're doing that day with the students via online. They also don't have to worry about doing the math of grading papers. They just type them in online to a website and it puts them right in there for them and calculates the grade. They also don't have to do little things such as taking the attendance down to the office. They just send them an email. Not only does it make the teachers' lives easier, it also makes the students and the parents. Students won't get behind if they're sick. They can just do their homework online during the day if they feel well enough, and then they're not worried about getting behind, and their parents won't worry about it either. Parents also won't have to make meetings with the teachers. They won't have to try and make time to meet them in person. They'll just be able to do it online by email or video chat. This will give them access to their grades and their schedules, and it'll just make it a lot easier for them. And it'll make it so much easier. It's so much easier for everyone in the school system. There's so many positives that we see when looking at technology and how it works in schools, and oftentimes we miss the negatives. There are quite a few negatives that technology can play. It can cause problems in the classroom and at home. A negative product of technology is that children won't be getting as much social interaction. Claudia Bravo tells us in her article, Positive and Negative Effects of Education in the Classroom. There have already been some questions on the amount of time that a teacher spends on a student. Now there are more concerns that teachers will spend even less time with their students. Teachers are no longer handing back papers. They're not meeting with students for conferences. Instead, they're sending them notes on a Google Doc. It's important for students to have a relationship with their teacher and be comfortable in the setting with their teacher and just like in the school setting, but at this point they're not, because they're not speaking with anybody. Everything's online. Some kids aren't even online, and then they don't have, they're not being social with even other students unless their parents are taking them out. And even if they are in the classroom, they may not have the same opportunity to be social with others, and it's important for them to be social, because if they don't understand social interaction from a young age, they're going to have a hard time interacting with other humans as they get older. Top Hat, an educational technology website, says that a con of using technology is that technology can foster cheating in a class and on assignments. When students have the ability to Google the answer or look at their notes, they're going to do it. If a teacher doesn't use a proctor site that make sure the students don't cheat, and they have no way of telling the student's going to do it. The student, if they know that the teacher's not going to find out, they're probably not going to study. They're probably not going to pay attention in class. They're going to look up all the answers, and then they're not going to know the information they're supposed to know. If the teacher doesn't know that they're cheating, then why not cheat? Technology and the ability to go to other websites and play games on the computers can be super distracting for students. They may decide to play games instead of write the paper they're supposed to be writing, or they may decide to work on homework for a different class instead of paying attention to the lesson. When you give the student a freedom that comes with having a computer in front of them, they may take advantage of it and not do what they're supposed to be doing. A study on the positive and negative effects of using technology in the classroom by Courtney Unser showed that the students agreed and thought that devices and technology in their classrooms were distracting and disruptive. These are just a few many effects that technology has in a classroom. There's so many ways around these, and it's up for you to decide if we should keep the positives, like if the positives outweigh the negatives. It's up for you to decide for yourself. There's so many questions you can ask, such as, are the negatives something that can be fixed? Are the positives more important than limiting the negatives? Where do we draw the line?